I was 27 when my heart stopped for the first time. Not a figure of speech. My heart literally stopped beating for 43 seconds in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon meeting at work. I was a financial analyst at Greenfield Capital, presenting quarterly projections, and then I was on the floor with my boss doing CPR while someone screamed for an ambulance. Long QT syndrome, Dr. Michael Harrison said after 3 days of tests in the cardiac ICU. It's a genetic electrical disorder in your heart. Without treatment, you'll have more cardiac arrests. The next one could be fatal. I stared at the monitor showing my irregular heart rhythm. What's the treatment? Implantable cardioverter defibrillator, an ICD. It's like a pacemaker, but it also shocks your heart if it stops. We need to do the surgery within 2 weeks. After that, you'll need lifelong monitoring, medication, and activity restrictions. The ICD surgery was scheduled for March 15th. The device cost $78,000, barely covered by insurance. I'd need to take 6 weeks off work for recovery and adjustment. My savings would be depleted. I called my parents that evening. My father, Robert Chin, was a thoracic surgeon at University Medical Center. My mother worked in hospital administration. If anyone would understand cardiac emergencies, it was them. Long QT. Dad's voice was skeptical. That's pretty rare, Cassie. Are they sure it's not just anxiety? Your mother mentioned you've been stressed at work. Dad, my heart stopped. They have it on EKG. Well, hearts can have temporary arrhythmias. Doesn't necessarily mean you need a device implanted. That seems extreme for someone your age. Dr. Harrison says without it I could die. Who's Dr. Harrison? Eye cardiologist. He's the head of electrophysiology at County General. Never heard of him. Maybe you should come to University Medical Center, get a second opinion from someone I know. These community hospital doctors, they sometimes overtreat. My chest tightened. I almost died, Dad. But you didn't. Look, let's not make any hasty decisions about surgery. Come by the house this weekend. We need to talk about your brother's graduation anyway. My brother Kevin was finishing medical school at University Medical Center, the same hospital where Dad worked. He was 25, Dad's golden child, matching into a prestigious cardiology residency program at Johns Hopkins. The graduation ceremony was in May, 2 months away. When I went to their house that weekend, Mom was in full party planning mode. We're having a huge celebration after Kevin's graduation, she said, showing me catering menus. Everyone from the hospital, the entire medical school faculty, Kevin's classmates, is going to be at the university club. We've already spent $30,000 on deposits. That's great, Mom. Kevin wants you to give a speech. Something about how proud you are of him, how he's always been brilliant. Maybe 5 minutes. When is it? May 20th. Right after the ceremony. My follow-up appointment for the ICD check was May 20th. I might not be able to make it. I have a cardiology appointment that day. Mom's face fell. Can't you reschedule? This is Kevin's big day. It's my 3-month device check. They need to make sure the ICD is functioning properly. Cassie, you're not seriously going to miss your brother's medical school graduation for a checkup. It's not a checkup. It's monitoring a device that keeps my heart beating. Dad walked in. What's this about? Cassie says she might miss Kevin's graduation because of some appointment. For the heart thing? Dad waved his hand dismissively. Cassie, I've been thinking about that. I really don't think you need that device. I've talked to some colleagues. We think you're overreacting to a one-time event. A one-time event? I had a cardiac arrest. You had an arrhythmia. It's different. These young doctors, they want to put devices in everyone. It's a cash cow for hospitals. My hands were shaking. Dr. Harrison says I have a genetic condition that causes sudden cardiac death. Dr. Harrison is probably trying to make his numbers look good. Look, I'm a surgeon. I've been in medicine for 30 years. Trust me on this. You don't need surgery. You just need to relax, maybe take some beta blockers. I already have the ICD. Silence. You already had the surgery? Mom asked. 3 weeks ago. Dr. Harrison said we couldn't wait. Dad's face reddened. Without getting a second opinion from my colleagues? Cassie, that was incredibly irresponsible. Now you're stuck with a device you probably don't need, and you've wasted insurance money that could have been. That could have been what? Saved for Kevin's party? Don't be dramatic, Mom said. Your father is just concerned about you making good medical decisions. I made the decision that keeps me alive. Dad shook his head. Well, it's done now. But I expect you at Kevin's graduation. No excuses. And please don't tell people about this heart thing. Kevin doesn't need his sister's medical drama overshadowing his achievement. Build up. Over the next 2 months, my family made it clear that my cardiac arrest was an inconvenience they wanted forgotten. Kevin called me once to ask about the speech. Keep it short, he said. Focus on my accomplishments, not your health stuff. Dad said you've been making a big deal out of some minor heart issue. Minor? Kevin, I have an ICD. Yeah, Dad mentioned. He thinks you got talked into unnecessary surgery. Kind of embarrassing, honestly. You should have consulted him first. I had a cardiac arrest at work. People have arrhythmias all the time. Doesn't mean you need a device. Anyway, the speech, I'm thinking you talk about how I've always been dedicated to medicine, how proud the family is, maybe mention my Johns Hopkins match. What about congratulations from me? Sure, whatever. Just keep it under 5 minutes. The real speeches are from the dean and the department heads. I started documenting everything. Every dismissive comment. Every time they called my cardiac arrest minor or dramatic. I kept copies of my medical records. The EKG showing my heart stopping, Dr. Harrison's notes about the genetic condition, the surgical report for the ICD implantation. The week before Kevin's graduation, Dad called. We need to talk about your appearance at the ceremony. My appearance? Your mother mentioned you've lost weight. You look sick. Can you do something about that? Maybe get some sun, wear something flattering? Kevin's classmates will be there and we don't want them thinking there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with me. I have long QT syndrome. Cassie, I've told you I don't think that diagnosis is accurate. You're thin and pale because you're stressed. Take some vitamins. And please at the party don't mention the heart thing. If people ask why you've lost weight, just say you've been working out. You want me to lie about having a life-threatening cardiac condition? I want you to not embarrass your brother on his special day. Is that so much to ask? 2 days before the graduation I had a dizzy spell at work. The ICD detected an arrhythmia and delivered a shock. A jolt like being kicked in the chest. I drove myself to Dr. Harrison's office for an emergency check. Your device fired appropriately, he said, reviewing the data. You had a ventricular tachycardia episode. Without the ICD, this could have been another cardiac arrest. My father thinks I don't need the device. Dr. Harrison looked up sharply. Your father is a thoracic surgeon, correct? Not a cardiologist. Yes. Cassie, I have your genetic testing results. You have a confirmed LQTS mutation. This isn't opinion, it's fact. Without the ICD, your risk of sudden death is over 60% within 5 years. Can you put that in writing? Of course. Why? Because my family is telling people I'm attention-seeking and got unnecessary surgery. My brother is graduating from medical school, and I need him to understand that cardiac disease isn't medical drama. Dr. Harrison's jaw tightened. Where is your brother graduating from? University Medical Center. Who's the dean there now? I think Dr. Patterson? My dad mentions him. Dr. Harrison went very still. Richard Patterson? Yes. Cassie, Richard Patterson and I went to medical school together. We're on the American College of Cardiology board together. He's going to be at your brother's graduation. He's giving the commencement address. And your family has been telling people your cardiac condition is fake? I showed him my documentation. Texts from Kevin calling me dramatic, voicemails from Dad saying I got unnecessary surgery, emails from Mom asking me to hide my medical condition at the graduation. Dr. Harrison made a copy of everything. I'm going to that graduation, he said quietly. Richard is a friend. He needs to know that one of his graduating medical students is spreading misinformation about a serious cardiac condition. Revelation. The graduation ceremony was held in University Medical Center's auditorium. 200 medical students in caps and gowns, proud families filling every seat. I sat in the back with my parents and watched Kevin receive his diploma to thunderous applause. Dean Richard Patterson took the podium for the commencement address. He was in his 60s, distinguished, with the commanding presence of someone who'd trained hundreds of doctors. Today we celebrate the next generation of physicians, he began. These graduates have spent 4 years learning not just the science of medicine, but the art of compassion, the ethics of care, and the humility to recognize what they don't know. Standard graduation speech. I started to zone out. Then his tone changed. Before I continue, I need to address something that came to my attention this week. A matter of profound concern regarding one of our graduates. The room went silent. Kevin sat up straighter in his seat. A colleague of mine, Dr. Michael Harrison, one of the nation's leading cardiac electrophysiologists, contacted me about a troubling situation. A patient of his, a young woman with confirmed long QT syndrome and documented cardiac arrest, was told by her family that her condition was fake and her life-saving ICD implantation was unnecessary surgery. My father's face went pale. This patient's brother is graduating today. A brother who is entering a cardiology residency program. A brother who has been telling his classmates that his sister is attention-seeking and dramatic about a genetic condition that carries a 60% risk of sudden death without intervention. Kevin looked like he'd been slapped. Dean Patterson continued, his voice hard. Dr. Harrison provided me with documentation. Text messages. Voicemails. Medical records. This graduate, who took an oath to do no harm, has been actively spreading medical misinformation about his own sister's life-threatening condition. Whispers rippled through the auditorium. Parents were looking around, trying to figure out who the dean was talking about. The patient's father, a thoracic surgeon on staff at this hospital, told his daughter to relax, instead of getting the ICD that saved her life 2 days ago when her device appropriately fired to correct a lethal arrhythmia. My mother grabbed my father's arm. Several doctors in the audience turned to look at our family. This is not what we teach here, Dean Patterson said. We teach evidence-based medicine. We teach respect for specialists. We teach that when a patient tells you they're in distress, you believe them. We do not teach our graduates to dismiss their own family members' documented cardiac disease because it's inconvenient for party planning. Someone in Kevin's row pointed at him. His classmates were staring. The patient was asked to hide her ICD at today's ceremony. To pretend she isn't surviving a genetic condition. To give a speech praising her brother while he tells people she's faking a condition that has already caused her heart to stop twice. Dean Patterson looked directly at Kevin. Kevin Chin, please stand. Kevin stood slowly, his face white. The help your sister gave you deserves respect, Dean Patterson said. Your sister Cassie is here today. She skipped her heart device check, a life-saving appointment, so she could attend your graduation. The same graduation where your family asked her to lie about her heart disease. The hall went silent. Johns Hopkins Hospital has been told about this, the dean continued. Your residency is now under review. We don't send doctors to top heart programs when they can't respect real cardiac patients, especially their own sister. Kevin's face went pale. The dean looked around the hall. Let this be a lesson, he said. Medicine isn't just science, it's compassion. Believe your patients. Respect your colleagues. And never ignore someone's pain just because it's inconvenient. He turned to the crowd. Cassie Chin, if you're here, know this. The medical community believes you. Dr. Harrison believes you. You deserved better. The rest of the ceremony blurred. I sat frozen. My parents stared ahead, ashamed and silent. After the ceremony, Kevin found me in the parking lot, angry and shaking. You told the dean? You ruined my graduation. I didn't, I said. Dr. Harrison did. He only knew because you gave him everything, like you were building a case. You called me attention-seeking while I recovered from heart surgery. Dad said you didn't need that device. Dad's a surgeon, not a heart rhythm doctor. Dr. Harrison is. Who should I trust? Kevin's hands trembled. Hopkins is reviewing my match. I could lose everything because of you. No, because you told people your sister faked a heart attack. I didn't know it was serious. You're becoming a cardiologist, Kevin. You should have known. He turned away. 3 days later, Johns Hopkins withdrew his offer. They said he lacked judgment and professionalism. He scrambled for another spot and ended up in a small hospital in Delaware, far from his dream. My father called once. I hope you're happy, he said coldly. You ruined your brother's career. I didn't ruin anything, I said. He did that himself. You're selfish. Don't contact us again. He hung up. Soon everyone at the hospital knew the story. The surgeon whose daughter had long QT syndrome and the son who mocked her condition. Doctors stopped sending patients to my father. His boss warned him about disrespecting specialists. His name lost its shine. Kevin posted online, "Sometimes family betrays you when you need them most." I didn't reply. Dr. Harrison stayed my doctor. One day he said, "Dean Patterson told me what happened. Your brother blamed you." "I know," I said. He also said something true. Kevin's lack of empathy would have made him a dangerous cardiologist. Better this happened now than later. 6 months later I was stable. My ICD worked well. I got promoted and lived peacefully without my family's approval. Kevin's career never recovered. Community hospitals don't lead to top heart fellowships. His dream of being a famous cardiologist was gone. Dad's reputation stayed damaged. People told the story of the surgeon who told his daughter to relax, instead of saving her life. One day a girl from Kevin's class saw me in a cafe. "I remember you," she said. "After the dean's speech we looked up your condition. We didn't know how serious it was. Kevin said it was just stress." "He believed Dad," I said. "That's the problem," she said. "He never checked the facts. He just assumed you were dramatic. That's not how doctors should think." She paused. "Honestly, many of us were glad Hopkins withdrew him. If he ignored his own sister's heart arrest, how would he treat patients?" I nodded. My heart device beat steadily beneath my shirt. Kevin studied medicine for 4 years, but when it mattered most he ignored real evidence. He called me dramatic instead of sick. Dr. Harrison didn't ruin Kevin's career. He just told the truth. The rest happened because Kevin showed who he really was. Some people say I should have protected him. But I stood on that stage with a device in my chest, asked to hide my disease and praised the brother who lied about me. The dean only spoke the truth that day. The fallout was already waiting. Kevin made his choices. He ignored medical proof. He spread lies. He let pride guide him. He just didn't expect that the dean knew my doctor. And unlike my family's stories, medical records don't lie.